It's time to gather together. Hi there, I'm Yelta, and I'll be buying the first round while we chat about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 207. Pull up a chair and join us. On the menu tonight, watch the latest installment of Duty Commenced. Watch our Final Fantasy XIV Online Store is now open. The return of Breaking Brick Mountains. Letter from the Producer Live 64. Letter from the Producer Live Part 59 is set for July 22nd. And a reminder about our contest. Let's shoot the shit first, though. What's been going on this week? Hi, Ruby.
What's up, Yelta? How are you?
I am hanging in there. How are you?
Well, that's good. I'm doing pretty good. Last ep, I was complaining about a thorn in my side because I had a medical condition, and I passed a kidney stone, and it's over. It's over. The medical condition has subsided, and I'm back to my normal self, whatever that means. So I'm able to sit on the couch without pain, walk around without pain. It's great. I feel good. So my mood is up. I'm feeling good about things. We have a release date for 5.3, so I'm excited. So now I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna keep going now that I know when my return to Eorzea is going to be. I'm going to finish this backlog, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm still spending a lot of time on Animal Crossing. My wife and I are moving villagers around at this point. We're at a stage where we're like really trying to straighten up where we're at on the island, like where the villagers are and gardens and that kind of thing. We hit 5 stars for sure. We've gotten like 2 Lily of the Valleys or whatever they are now, and I got my first gold rose 2 days ago. Weird circumstance. I've had 2 creepy things happen to me. One less creepy than the other. The less creepy is the gold rose. But the gold rose, neither my wife and I had a gold watering can. And it had rained like for 5 days straight on our island. And I had 2 black roses up on a hilltop because I didn't know what to do with them. We had tucked them in a corner. And lo and behold, we logged on one day and the gold rose appeared right next to it. So it was suggested that somebody had come to our island and had watered it, but we hadn't had a visitor in quite some time. That I would have moved those roses in the time that a visitor had come to the island, and I moved them to another spot, and then it was speculated, well, maybe it carried the water from the gold, but I don't know that that's even possible. So it was a really fluke thing. Now, the other part was, I said, well, maybe we are 5-star. And so I checked and we were 5-star at that point. I think she checked and it was 4. I logged into mine. It was 5 when I logged into my character. So I don't know how that worked. I'm the primary, so maybe something kicks in. And then she gave me the recipe for the golden watering can, which I had not had prior to that gold rose appearing. But maybe there's a small percentage chance that when you're a 5-star island, that rain could make the gold rose grow. I don't know any of these things. So that's a kind of a cool thing to me with Animal Crossing. There is a lot of shit to me that I don't know, and I really don't go out there to find out because I don't care that much. So things are a surprise. I'm like, oh, stuff can happen in an odd way that doesn't really make sense. And that's the one kind of weird thing that happened that was like less creepy. The other creepy thing was I was walking into the clothing shop yesterday, Mabel's shop, and I saw the shadow of a scorpion, but no scorpion. And I rushed inside. The scorpion never spawned, but I wondered if it was there or if it was like behind the building and somehow the light did a weird trick and was shining through, so it was showing me a reversed image. I don't know, but it creeped me the fuck out because I knew that scorpion was right there. And I had also been frightened just earlier by a scorpion because I was coming out of a house and it was there. It turned the other direction, walked off screen, and then when I turned around I got away and then I came back, it had disappeared. So I have this theory that the scorpion was following me. The ghost of that despawned scorpion was following me around my island.
Or you have invisible scorpions that cast shadows.
Well, that's worse.
Thanks,
That's a hell of a lot worse. So, Animal Crossing is still fun to me. I don't know. There's diving now. They added that. You can go swimming. There's not much I'm doing with it. I mean, we're getting a few extra recipes from the stoner. What is he, like a beaver or some shit?
Otter or something?
The otter.
I haven't met him yet.
Yeah.
I only played once, so.
Yeah, so you give him a scallop. You find like a clam or something, and you give it to him. He asks you for it, and then he'll either give you a pearl, which is the crafting recipe for the DIYs he gives you, or he gives you a DIY. But he always leaves you with a deep thought, and it's something like, maybe we're the aliens. Maybe we came from another planet, man, or something, like just really like far out, and then he like floats away. So I don't know what's in those scallops or whatever he's eating, but I want some because it puts you on another level, man.
Oh, boy.
So that's pretty neat. They add new stuff all the time, and I think we have another thing that's being added next month. So they're keeping it going, and I suspect Animal Crossing will be fun for an entire year. And then maybe shit will start fading out. But by then, maybe we'll have like Breath of the Wild 2 or a new Switch version. Or, I mean, hell, PS5s and what other video game consoles, Xboxes and such. Maybe the Atari VCM or whatever that is. I'm into the emulation scene, Yelta. I talk about this on occasion. I love the little mini consoles, right? And I've been following, there's an Atari one. It's Atari VC something, I don't know. Atari VCS. And it's a total scam. They've been trying to get money for this thing forever, but and now you can pre-order them, but I think it's for $370 at Walmart or GameStop. It's ridiculous because this went through like an Indiegogo or something years and years ago. It has a sleek look to it. But there's some flawed stuff, and I can't really discuss intelligently about what's gone wrong with it, but it sounds, allegedly it's a scam. Let me put that out there. Allegedly, there's some scamminess going on with it. But that's not the one I've been really screwing with. My console of choice recently has been the Commodore 64 Mini, and if you're unfamiliar with the Commodore 64, it is a personal computer from the early 1980s, and I have a lot of fond memories of playing with it with my father as a child, and I had bought one of these, and long story short, I put some software to make like this carousel so I can see the images of the boxes, and then I decided now I want to do add 25 more to the 80 that I'd already put on it, and I've been saying I'm never going to be done with this project. It's because I keep trying to add shit to it, but I think I'm finally in the death throes. I'm finally getting done with it, so I'll showcase it or something when I'm done. I'll tweet out some images and stuff of how I'm doing it or the videos. If anybody's interested, I think you can still order them relatively easy. They're supposed to make it a maxi, which is the full with keyboard and everything working, but I think COVID really knocked that out because it was being developed, and I think they released in Europe, but it did not release in North America. The company that's making the Commodore 64 Mini and Maxi are out of the UK, I believe. Definitely out of Europe. So we'll see. But that's the one I've been messing with recently. I think my next go is going to be the Sega. I have the Sega Genesis one. I'll be messing with that, and then I really need to work on I always want to say R4, but it's not. It's the Raspberry Pi. I'm thinking I might get a 3. I know there's 4s, but I think I might get a 3. So if any listener out there has done the Raspberry Pi thing, I'm really open. The second half of 2020, I think I'm really open to looking at putting one of those together and start screwing with that. And that may be like a 2-year project because that shit gets deep. If you're not familiar with that, that's buying one of them little computers that you can use as an emulation station. So you've got your NES, SNES, all your stuff. And I'm just big into the retro gaming stuff. I want to be able to play Super Mario Brothers 3 on everything I own. It's like a philosophy for me. If it can't play Sonic 2, what the fuck is it for? So, I've got 3DSs and DSs and PSPs and Wii's and Wii U's and emulation things, software on my PC, and we've done the Xbox. I've had a PS1 and PS2, and all kinds of stuff. So that's why I like these minis, because it gives me more freedom to do that. So, that's really what I've been messing with. I'm in chill mode until 5.3. If you hadn't figured that out, I've been in chill mode till 5.3. I stay on the Discord. Our Discord is lively. we've had some sad news. We've had some people leave. We've had new ones come, but we unfortunately lost a couple of free company members. And it's sad. I got to relate it to Animal Crossing in a way, and I'm not trying to diminish the feeling, but we lost one of our villagers the other day, Hippo. And when Hippo came along, he's a green hippo, and he's a smug type personality. So he was always wearing like these lordly coats. He looked like, dressing like Dracula and shit. And his house was really ornate. He had an organ in the house, or a harpsichord, and a bunch of other shit. And he just seemed like he was kind of that real gothic, And I didn't like him. I didn't like his color. I didn't like his catchphrase. That sounded terrible, right?
No,
he's lime. But he's lime green. He's lime green, and it's like this clashes with the stuff. I mean, I see people hate on that purple frog. I see people hate on that purple frog a lot, so I shouldn't take much hate for hating on a lime green hippo, right? But you're not at the end of my story. The end of my story is this guy. We got another villager. We wanted to get a different one, and it chose Hippo. And we already had his photo, and we've gotten a lot of good recipes out of him. And we just felt like, hey, maybe it's time for Hippo to go. And as soon as we clicked that button, we were like in tears. It's like we didn't want him. He grew on us. He was like our best villager because he always had like that panache, and he just I don't know. There was just something that he was gone. So. Love your free company members, because sometimes they leave you, and it's not for reasons that are bad. It's like, they join other people. We had one recently that had a buddy that joined the game, and so, you're going to go with that friend and start your own free company. I mean, that's what Yelta and I and Kariri did. We struck it out, and we joined forces with others that were with us, and I don't know. It was fun, and so people have to have that sense of building their own. We get that, and we're happy that we were a pass-through or a part of somebody's journey through Eorzea, because we hope it was a fun time. But, we hate when people leave for other reasons as well, because, personal drama, or they don't feel like, they belong in a certain environment, or need to take a break from something, and those are reasons like I'm with it, like mental health is of utmost importance, and you have to do what's right for you. But I hate to see people go. I'm always that one, like, I'm just like, are you sure? And it makes me feel bad in a way, because, like, I hate to say, are you sure? Like, you set that seed of doubt that, are you sure you really want to go? Because it sounds manipulative. But at the same time, that's my own personal feeling. It's like, are you sure you want to leave? Because it breaks my heart. So, but I wish everybody the best that go. For those that enter, welcome to the bosom. We're always open, happy to be around. This is from the guy who hasn't logged in a couple of months, but I still lurk. I'm on the Discord. I'm watching. I'm seeing who's coming in and out and joining in the conversation. And it seems like a lot of fun stuff has been happening. A lot of EXs and good stuff. Yeah. So Yelta, tell the listeners, but tell me about what all the fun stuff that's been going on.
Well, I occasionally get a comforting message from you that you're coming back.
But, they're all lies.
They're all
deception.
But I did play quite a bit, mostly on my main. I did get the last two Disciple of War 80 relics, so my entire main hand chest is purple except for that fucking blue mage weapon, because that doesn't match, but everything else is purple. That's all the crafting ones, all the gathering ones, all the battle ones. I don't know. I will not use. No, I don't know. But no, I don't know that I would like necessarily keep doing all of them for sure. Especially, this step was pretty easy for some of them, right? Just here's some poetics. So yeah, that's very easy to get all of them. But some of the next step is probably going to be harder, right? That's It's, hopefully, God, I hope so.
Probably won't do them all. You might, but you probably won't.
Probably not. It's unlikely that there's some people with way more time and dedication or something that do grind them all out. But man, I don't know. But I did quite a bit of trials and savage mount farming. Like, I had never gotten the 8S mount or whatever. We went and farmed up a whole bunch of those. The group has a lot of people who had almost finished it, some that had finished it back in the day, some brand new people. So there was quite the eclectic mix. I think we had to wait for someone to unlock it, So, but it's kind of fun when you go into knowing that's what you're going to get. I don't like joining a farm party like today. I joined a Ruby farm party, and there was a bonus. Well, this was yesterday. It doesn't matter. And the leader of the party pipes up right away. Don't worry about the bonus. They're in voice chat with me. And it's like, but the shit was listed as a farm. So I'm like, all right, I'm in my head. I'm like, I'll do a couple pulls, but damn. It was a complete and total shit show. Mm-hmm. And then, but we were getting far enough. I thought we probably could clear. And we did finally do one clear. This is a farm party, and it's now been 40 minutes. So, no, this was Innocence. It wasn't even a Ruby farm. It was fucking Innocence.
Oh,
but anyway,
boy.
Oh, yeah. But then, so... as we're zoning back out, the leader who had told us that it's okay, they're like, sure, whatever the news guy's name is, died a bunch of times, but it was really the vets that were doing the most screwing up, and I just left. Well, actually, I didn't. Somebody typed 3 lines before I left. They typed something like, you really shouldn't have a farm party when someone hasn't cleared. It's not fair to the rest of blah, blah, blah. And it was just a very nice thing. All I did is type up arrow and left the party. I'm like, that shit makes me crazy. Don't join. We've done clears. If someone's like, don't worry, this is an alt. That's fine. Or I've seen to 5%. Is that okay? This was not communicated at all before queuing in, right? When you queue in, and I've had a lot of this the last couple of days. When you queue in, and it's a Ruby farm party. Somebody puts down that 1 marker, and 2 people don't pick a spot. Then they put down the 1 and 2 marker, and everyone just stands there. I'm like, this is how our data center farms this shit, right? You put down the marker, you pick your spot, you put down the other marker, you pick your groups, and you're done. You don't even have to communicate. The only thing you have to know is if we're rotating or not. That is it. There's nothing else that needs to be clarified in a Ruby farm party. And when people don't even do what they're supposed to do, it's like, I just can't even. I thought this was a farm party. It makes me completely nuts. Do you remember we got mad at people in our own free company? We're like, don't pull that shit with people, because people in our free company were pulling that. And this started a whole cycle of explaining this is how people use the party finder, and this is why you have, there is a button you should, and it was the leader, so obviously he didn't push the button that said you had to have already completed before even joining the party. But it's like, there's a reason these are options. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, I join learning parties all the time. I join clear parties all the time. If that's the only thing up and I feel like it, or if I've been in too many farm parties that were worse than learning parties or clear parties, sometimes it's fun to go in and just help. But do not join a goddamn farm party when you're not farm ready.
I blue in the face, Yelta. I don't know how many times it has to be told. Like, we even had to break it down for ourselves, right? We had miscommunication within our own free company at one point. That we had to specify the tiers, and it's been a little bit. I really had hoped if I left the game for a couple of months, I'd come back and all this shit would be fixed. Yelta, people would be doing the right parties and everything.
No,
it didn't get fixed, huh? They hadn't fixed that yet. So we developed. We didn't develop. I mean, we decided on 5 different tiers. What would be a farm, a clear, a learning, blind, and I think there's maybe one other, maybe not. But and what is expected of each of those tiers, and the expectation of a farm is that everybody knows it and is expected to clear, and it would be cleared on the first go. And if it wasn't cleared in the first go, it was something dumb that happened, Right. But then, and so on and so forth. The expectation for a learning is that somebody has a spot that they're trying to learn. Maybe that was the other one. We had a progression party. There was an actual spot where everybody says, I need to know this second wave of this thing. Help me learn that. And then the expectations are set. And it always comes back to expectations. Does every person, do all 8 people or all 4 people or all 27 people, whatever it is, 24 people. Do they all have the same expectation of the content? And that's where the lines get blurry. When you do things like a 24-man raid, the expectation is just don't shit the bed so hard that you kill everybody else. There's a few fights that are like that across the spectrum of 24-man raids. But when you're in an 8-man savage group, the expectation is up to whatever point you're practicing, and if you're not practicing and you're there to clear, up to the clear, and if you're there to farm, how to clear successfully every time. That's not rocket science, right? To me, that's not the same discussion as what should somebody do when they're in a dungeon. Should they DPS as a healer or not? That kind of thing. Those are where maybe a personal style and the lax level of the content. But as you put a stranglehold on the content, you go up the pyramid, the expectations become tighter, and there's no more diapers. You need to be potty trained. You need to, be able to eat with a fork and a spoon, and be if you can't tell, I got a 2-year-old at the house. We're learning. We're learning things, and I don't expect my 2-year-old to use the restroom and flush the toilet and wash his hands and make himself a sandwich and turn on the TV and say, "Hey, Dad, did you pay the water bill?" And I don't expect my 2-year-old to do that level of stuff, but I would expect when he becomes 20 that there would be he better not be in diapers at 20. That's what I'm saying. We got an issue if he's in diapers at 20.
Well, a lot of it's just, you're right. It's expectations and it's communication. It makes me so crazy when you drop down that marker and pretty much universally on the entire data center, thousands and thousands of people, 9 times out of 10 will just go stand in their spot. And then you might discuss, why do we have 2 healers on the west side and we adjust, whatever.
Sure.
And you go on. And then if you do wipe, us grown-ass adults can ask, hey, was somebody confused about their spot? Let's just double-check. And you just go on. But it's just, a lot of it's communication. And most people just want to push buttons and not, they don't care if you're happy or not. But I stayed in parties I should have left is kind of the other thing that makes me mad is I should have taken it upon myself to be like, nope, and left. But I was, joining other people's parties. There wasn't that many on. So we were just trying to do something. But no, I actually had probably more good parties than bad parties in the last 2 weeks, but I've had some real stinkers the last 2 days.
Yeah, I think the bad stuff typically, I'm not talking about you in particular here, but I think a lot of times the bad stuff does get highlighted. When you really go and you hunt for things, or if you look for stuff, you find a lot of bad stories. But isn't that really the case? You find a lot more good parties than bad when you're really out there doing it.
For the most
that's
part.
Good.
Yeah. Well, then on my alt, I got to 80 White Mage. I did the Breaking Brick Mountains event, and then I was done with her for the 2 weeks because I don't know. I still have stuff to do on Yelta. I decided I need to relearn a DPS class because we have just too many healers and quite a few, and I don't like tanking in our free company. So I'm trying to gear up and relearn Black Mage, but man, I'm apparently not good at it anymore. But then I did a lot of achievement hunting. I think I finished all the A Realm Reborn just gathering in each zone ones. Those are painful because it's like 5,000 level 51 or level 41 to 51 nodes in each of the 3 major city-states. So it's just like, oh my lord. And then I did this, there was a Stormblood one I hadn't done yet. That one was just 1 for 5,000, and I'd already had like 4,444, so I didn't have that many to do. So I've just kind of been doing some achievement hunting, some old mount hunting, helping people who asked to come join with them. So been keeping pretty busy though. So that's nice. But that was about it. Probably more than enough for this content drought. All right, you can shoot the shit with us. Go to the website, www.GTFFXIV.com. Let us know what you've been doing. The first round news, you can watch the latest installment of Duty Commenced. they ran some content. I don't really know.
I skimmed this one. I am at home now. I think we've discussed this in the last few. Well, I think both Yelta and I, for the most part, are at home when these air. We're usually just watching some other streamers at this house. If they're still being aired, it seems like the streamers we keep watching don't have channels anymore. But anyway, with this one still continues, thankfully, and Aya is running the show. They ran a 24-man raid. They ran Robin Oster, I think, or at least one of them, the one with the the math robot and such. I read a funny tweet. It was something about Final Fantasy 14 players are like, does this +8 crit, give me a 1.76 chance to increase ... DPS? And it said, it said that the 24-man raid, the robot goes 9 + 2 is prime. They fucking freak out, can't tell a prime number from a hole in the wall. But we're so focused on that 1.01 percentage chance that the crit increases. But anyway, they did that, and then they ran some. I think they ran PvP. Yeah, they were running the one I'm not really fond of, the one with the Rock'em Sock'em robots. So they did that, and then watched some art. Looked at the what do they call those? The commendations?
Community commendations, I think.
Yeah, that's it. So some really cool stuff there. But, pretty typical, but ran about a couple hours. Good stuff. But, again, they're not doing contests. So if you're looking to win something,
you're looking at contests.
You're going to have to wait.
Oh. All right, they have given us a new Final Fantasy XIV Online Store. This is the Mog Station, but new and different. I know. Thing number one that you noticed immediately. I don't have to fucking log in to just look.
Amen.
Oh my God.
There are so many times on this podcast we have said, something about the Mog Station. Let's look. And then you can hear us typing as we try to log into the Mog Station. And what a blessing that you can just take a look. Because if I'm not buying anything yet, I can look all day on Amazon. I don't have to log into anything unless I purchase. Or, I can order a Domino's pizza without even making an account. I get the reasoning behind, why you need to log in. But I never understood the reasoning behind logging in prior to. And that shitty system. It still looked like 1.0 to me. I know it wasn't, but there was something about those boxes that still felt very archaic. And it always saved the wrong password. Now I'm on Google Chrome, but it would consistently save.
It tries to save
my 6-digit code, my authenticator code as my password. And it's what a clusterfuck. I would say no every time, but it would still continually pop up the box. Now, that might be a Chrome issue, but I don't have that problem anymore. So, you can take a look at it right here, right now, and I think it's beautiful. It seems, though, to me no, that was Facebook. Never mind. Facebook made a change, and I thought it looked like an iTunes interface.
Oh.
This one does not. This one does not look that bad. Facebook made a change recently, and it looks horrific.
I hate Facebook right now. I can't even.
Well,
how do I get?
It's an election year, Yelta. Facebook
sucks.
sucks.
Well, yeah, I shouldn't go anyway. It is nice. They've got like categories. And then if you click all items, you can actually just filter by new or featured or a set or NPC attire. I mean, it seems pretty snappy, right? It actually seems.
Boom. Clicked on dyes. I see dyes.
Yeah. So, as much as I don't really care for the Mog Station, even though I'm a hypocrite and I buy shit off the Mog Station, I can't argue that it, doesn't look pretty damn good, and it's pretty good, easy to use.
I'm impressed.
I'm actually pretty impressed. Good job. All right, we have the return of an event. I think this has been back. This is like the third time I think it's been back. But this is Breaking Brick Mountains, the collaboration event with Dragon Quest X. Breaking Brick Mountains is returning. And it starts in Ul'dah, if you haven't done it. And there are 3 event items. a Thug's Mug, a Wind-Up Brickman minion, and the King Slime Crown, which has really cool wobbly effects, I think.
Jiggle physics.
Jiggle physics. It's a pretty straightforward event. You talk to a dude, you go do, 2 fates in a row, and then you come back and buy and buy one of the items from the NPC next to the first guy.
For Western players, this may be the closest you ever get to Dragon Quest X, so that's lamentable, but I love all things Dragon Quest. I did this when, this was in 2.0, whenever it was. Fun to do. I think it's cool to see the crossover. I would have loved to have seen an Dragon Quest 11 crossover, but I don't think Dragon Quest 11 needed 14 to promote it. I think it carried its own weight. Maybe when there's some new Dragon Quest stuff on the horizon. If you're not into the Dragon Quest stuff, there is a Dragon Quest. I believe it was either a comic or manga or something, story that was a side story. It's not part of the numbered series or anything, or part of the other games like Joker or Monsters, about a character and his story. They're making a game out of it, and I think there's going to be a mobile, a console, and then some other format. And maybe that will do some sort of promotion. I would love to see some sort of Dragon Quest promotion. It doesn't necessarily have to be a hero from the first 11 installments. The monsters, I think, in Dragon Quest are more iconic than the heroes. I mean, honestly, the heroes don't even have names unless you dig into, the lore and,
Let us hunt a metal slime. Let us hunt a metal slime.
That's right. So, yeah, metal slimes are iconic. Brickmen are iconic. And there's many, many more Dragon Quest enemies that, you may not know the names, but if you close your eyes, you can picture them. And it's a pretty cool series, and I would love to see more crossover with it. I know we're doing Nier right now, and I'm really loving the Nier stuff. I think Nier's great, but there's room for this stuff, and as we've said before, we're way past worrying about motorcycles and helicopters and
well, I don't know if I'm past it, but I'm just...
sperm mounts and whatever else. Where's that yokai? Have they brought my yokai back?
Well, they're going to add new weapons. I think that was the last thing I heard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right? I think that's what we heard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, then we had a letter from the producer, Live64. This was just a post on the official forum. And honestly, the most exciting thing about it is we actually got a date for 5.3.
Hey-o.
Well, we got a tentative date, because it even says, as of now, it should be Tuesday, August 11th. So we still have another month, so...
How do you feel about that?
I feel like it's late, but I thought it was going to be late. And, I mean, we're probably lucky... I don't know. We're probably lucky we're getting it at all. I know some people try to be like, oh, maybe they should just release what they had, or maybe they should whatever. And,
what?
And then maybe they should shorten the next few release cycles so we can get the patches to catch up. How do you catch up?
Yeah, I don't think that's possible.
Yeah. So
unless you want a crunch environment. I mean, that's kind of a dirty way to say, hey, I would like devs to work, 60-hour plus weeks, 70-hour weeks, crunch time, not see their families, have to clock in and out for their bathroom breaks and that kind of shit. So, what are you asking for when you say those kind of comments? I'd kind of do some self-reflection on that. For the most part, I have seen some overwhelmingly positive responses from the 14 community, with people praising the community for having positive responses to understanding how the pandemic affected the release cycle on this, and with the hope that we get some good content. It allowed some time for some stuff to sink in, and I don't hear too much complaints about the drought, but Yoshida kind of protects himself from any kind of criticism for the drought by pivoting to, you don't have to play. Yeah. You can go do your backlog. You can go outside and fly a kite. But when we have more content, you are welcome to come back and play. Now, those aren't exactly his words, but, he's saying enjoy other games. It's okay to do so and come back when you're ready to play. So, I'm not seeing too much hate about the pushback, but I know there's going to be people that are upset about the pushback. My fear would be when you criticize anything for just personal disappointment, and I've seen this in the podcasting community. I saw this on Twitter when the Amazon shipments for there was a game that was being released, and Amazon shipments were being delayed because of it was Final Fantasy VII. When Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, a podcaster made a comment that said that they were disappointed in the delay of Final Fantasy VII's release, and they were disappointed. They did a pre-order, and it got delayed. And another person that I respect in the 14 community construed that statement as, wah, wah, I want my game now, and made such comments. And it felt to me like a dog pile on the podcaster for saying that they were personally disappointed in a game not coming out. I mean, should there be a level of maturity, emotional maturity for not getting something? Well, I mean, I've gotten mad that my sweet and sour sauce wasn't in the bag at McDonald's, so what the fuck? I don't feel like I'm an authority to say what somebody's emotional intelligence should be in reflecting on the global pandemic versus I just want my fucking video game so I can play because I pre-ordered this thing months and months ago. So, I mean, I see both sides of that story. But in this situation, I have seen overwhelmingly positive. If you are critical of the release cycle, it may be, just wait till August 11th, and let's see if we have a date on August 11th. I think there's other games that we can all dogpile on Cyberpunk 2077 for their umpteenth delays. Let's focus on shitting on Cyberpunk instead.
All right, and then something else they did is show us this image that looks like a tank. It looks like a screenshot from in-game because there's a chat bubble over it. And I thought Ruby did some digging. What did you say the translation says?
Free hot dogs. Buy one, get one. It says, translation of the image, it's an NPC name, Rorashia. And it says, what's this? This is quite an old-fashioned drawing. ... I got that translation. I believe that was on Mayomi's his YouTube channel. Somebody pinned this as a comment because he had asked if somebody had that, and I think he had that video came out last week. But anyway, this is an in-game shot. So this is not like a drawing somebody held up to the camera. She didn't hold this up like at a live letter. This is actually in-game footage with a speech bubble from an NPC I'm not familiar with if this is translated properly. And, what is it? I don't know. It's a tank.
Mm-hmm. That's all we know, really.
It's all we know, really. Yelta, you said you might have seen something about Yorha on Twitter?
I thought I saw a tweet that I can't find now, of course, but it might have been at any point since the last week.
Yeah,
that Yorha fans were more excited about this than everybody else because it's like, all the rest of us are like, it's a tank, and it might have more meaning to people who play Yorha, but I don't know that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tanks in Nier. Yeah, and then there's an armament in the picture. I don't know what that represents. I'm seeing people speculating that this is a mount in some way. People are. Is it a PvP mount? What new content does this come out of? So it's a good little tidbit, though. I like it. Just what is it? I'd love to blast a tank. I'd love to get in my tank and shoot shit up.
All right, then we have news for another letter. A letter from the producer live, part 59. That is set for July 22nd. Which I'm hoping we will check out because we should be recording on the 23rd. So hopefully we will be able to talk intelligently about it. All right, so in the next letter from the producer live, they're going to be talking about 5.3, Reflections in Crystal, which is the patch name, and delving into some of the new features. It's Wednesday, July 22nd at 4 a.m. PDT. So what is that, 6 my time? Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
The details coming soon on where you can watch it. and it's Patch 5.3 Preview Part 2 and miscellaneous announcements. I'm going to go back and rewatch Patch 5.3 Part 1 because I don't, honest to God, remember what was in it. I'm excited.
As am I. I was on Twitter the other day, and I was trying to type this in, but I fucked up. Patch 5.3, people were talking about some leaks. Now, I did not see any leaks. I just, I raised an eyebrow, and I said...
I didn't go looking either, yeah.
I didn't go look, and I raised an eyebrow, and a couple other people raised an eyebrow, but I saw that being kicked around, and I don't know to what extent the leaks would be. I'm not really trying to find out what in it, because I care about this story far too much to spoil it. I am one of those that, if I catch wind of hearing some music, I don't go hunting for it. But if I hear a tune from something, I don't mind being spoiled on a game's music. And I'm not even talking about 14 in particular. I'm talking about if I hear a part of a soundtrack for a game and I hear a theme, it doesn't offend me as much as just flat out reading lore. But in 14... there is that danger that you might hear a theme from an older Final Fantasy and kind of figure out who that boss is going to be. Like if you heard Chaos's theme prior to, what was that, 4.5 or something? You'd be like, whoa, I know something's coming. So anyway, or 4.4 I meant. Anyway, wait and see. I'm excited.
For sure. All right, and then a reminder, we are running a contest. Show us your bird. Give us art of your favorite bird in Final Fantasy XIV. No dragons, birds. Win a peacock mount. Contest ends when patch 5.3 hits, which as of right now is August 11th. Mm-hmm. You must submit by email gtffxiv@gmail.com. We actually have some entries. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we are going to get to pick a winner. We
will. Yes. So we have entries. I see some hand drawings. I've seen some computer artwork. I've seen in-game screenshot. All of those are acceptable. If you want to do something digital, if you want to draw something, if you want to paint something, take a photograph of a bird outside. If it relates to something in 14, take a picture of a mount. Take a picture of an enemy, paper mache. I mean, you could go on and on.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me in what way this is.
We don't care. We just want to give somebody something and make you work for it. So show us your bird. I just wanted to make something that sounded sexual. Like, show me your bird.
Show me your bird. Oh, baby.
That's becoming very out of taste. So. Maybe I won't do quite so many. Show us your.
Settle down. I don't need to see these letters.
Listen, don't show us your bird. Just send us a picture of an in-game something with wings. something with wings, please.
Oh my goodness!
But we did get some fan mail.
Yes,
as well.
I was very excited.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'll read it out.
Go for it.
So we got some fan mail from Rob. Hello, Rob. And Rob says hello. Hello, my name is Rob. I'm looking for some advice. I've played Final Fantasy XIV for some time now, probably since before the first expansion, usually on and off, super casual. Now I've made it my game. I have no idea where to start or focus. I recently finished Heavensward up to Knights of the Round fight. Should I continue to 80? Should I work on crafts? What do I do? Thanks in advance, Rob. Thank you, Rob, for that email. That's interesting because if you had asked me in 3.0 what would I do, there would be far less to say than if you ask me in 5.0 because there are things like now you could pivot to the Ishgardian restoration when you're in the Heavensward zones, right? Like you could do some additional crafting type things because you're already in those zones. Doing that stuff if you were doing Heavensward. So I can see the confusion because at one time, you would just be on a straight lore path when you're in the city, and now there's more diversions. So I think this is an interesting question. Yelta, what would you suggest?
It depends what you want, right? That's part of it. You have to decide, do you want to branch out or do you want to get through the story, get to the end, unlock everything, right? And your desire could change day to day or hour to hour, right? If you do some MSQ quests and you decide, I didn't do any of these Beast Tribe dailies, what are those? Or I, haven't leveled up other jobs, or I might want to do some crafting or gathering. First thing to know is there's almost no way to do it wrong. As long as you're having fun and aren't like, joining clear parties that you have, or joining parties you have no business in meeting. But it doesn't sound like we're having that kind of question here.
Right.
So let's say you are finished Heavensward. It's kind of up to you, really. You could, if you want, do you feel like crafting or gathering? You could do Ishgard Restoration, like Ruby already said. If you feel like, unlocking mounts and minions, you could go back and farm some of that stuff. You probably, have you done a lot of the trials? Have you unlocked all the side dungeons? But, don't get stressed out about it. What do you feel like doing? I think the only thing you really can kind of do wrong in this game, and I've experienced it quite a bit on my alts free company, is people who want to not do the story, but they want to craft and gather and make money. Well, the story unlocks everything.
Yeah.
So you really need to actually complete stuff to unlock the story, unlock those zones where you're going to find the materials and stuff. So that's one thing that you maybe could do wrong. Mm-hmm. The only other thing I see people do wrong is, and I've seen this again even in the last couple of weeks, people who come from other MMOs, it's usually people who played other MMOs, who decide to go out and just grind mobs to 80 and then start the story. And I'm like, there's no need. In fact, with my alt, I was leveling so quickly going through the story, I actually switched to another class, leveled it up a little bit to be the same as my MSQ progress. And then, once they were both a little over leveled, I kind of kept them almost the same until almost the end. It depends what you want to do. Yeah. I guess, my advice to most people is if you're enjoying the MSQ, if you're enjoying the story and you're not finding it, a lot of people don't like it. There are not a lot, but some people don't like it. They find it boring and tedious to work their way through the story. So my advice would be continue through the story, continue to the end. I don't even want to call it catching up because you're not really behind. There's not really behind. People worry about being behind. You could be behind if you want to be doing something, but if you have a friend or whatever. But I still maintain when my friends or family play the game, I go back and help them. I don't expect them to catch up to me.
Yeah. I actually had a similar thought to that when you were saying friends and family. I'm going to take it back a step. My advice to you, Rob, would be, first, what is your reasoning for making this your game now? You said you've played it before, but you're making it your game now. Is it because you had other friends that you discovered are playing this game and you're trying to catch up to them to play with them? Are you were bored of the other MMOs and so now you wanted to give 14 a try and you heard, maybe you heard it had a great story and you want to give it a try, or maybe you heard it had a great combat system or a great system, the boss systems, the fight, savages or something like that. So what is that reason? So that's going to kind of give you what your primary purpose is. And if none of those are your reason, and you're just like, I'm bored, I'm just looking for an MMO, nothing else is good out there, I'm sick of WoW's lies, and I don't want to play all that shit, or whatever else, whatever your reasoning is, I would say the default position for anybody who's just like, I'm trying the game out, is story. Flat out, because that's going to be the best part of the 14 experience. I think it's just the lore, it's just following the story, which accompanies exactly what Yelta's saying. If you do nothing else but the story, you'll level to 80, and you'll get all the stuff that you need to unlock, the mounts, the flight, everything that you need to make your game an enjoyable experience, you will get primarily through the journey of story. So if you had no inkling of what you wanted to do and there's no desire to catch up to a certain point and you're just playing a game to play the game, then it would be story, ultimately story. Now, if you had said, I'm into the raid scene, I'm trying to catch up to be a raider, I don't really care, well then skip. I mean, like, you know, I don't really mean skip, like, because I think the story's important enough not to. But if you're one of those MMO players that are just like, I don't really need to read all this stuff. I mean, you can play through it and just hit the space bar the whole time or whatever. Or you can buy some story skip. But I think ultimately, what should I do comes to what is your goal? Did you try to play with other friends? Are you trying to be something? Because otherwise, it's going to make you feel like a chore. If you go into Ishgard and you're like, I want to focus on the story, but everywhere you turn, there's a side quest, and then there's a crafting thing and whatever else. You know, that stuff starts to feel tedious after a while if you're not. It is also a fun distraction if you're trying to take a break, but if you're just trying to be a completionist to everything, sometimes that can feel overwhelming. So if you want to set a focus and you don't know what you really want to do, and it's not about catching up to friends, and it's not about joining the raid scene, it's not about streaming a certain content for your viewers, or I don't know what the other reasonings could be, but I would just say do the story and unlock everything and enjoy the process, and then, you know, maybe go back and do some of those side things that aren't part of the story anymore. I'm kind of sad you didn't wait till 5.3. I wouldn't want you to wait, but it'd be neat to see like what your experience, Rob, would be through the 2.0 stuff.
Some of us already have a plan. We're going to roll characters and just see what it feels like with the new changes. So,
beautiful. I love it.
Hopefully, I'd like to find someone who really hated it. Because I have done it now multiple times on multiple characters. So I've only taken 2 all the way through to Shadowbringers through the end. But I'd like to find someone who really found, you know, it slowed down a little bit before Titan or whatever. But, you know. But as far as Rob, I would like to know, do you have any friends or family or anybody who's already playing with you? Because this is, you know, do you have a free company? Do you have some link shells? You know, that could, you know, be like, oh, I want to farm Leviathan or whatever. You know, it gives you something to break the monotony or whatever. Mm-hmm. What was the other thing? I had one more thing I was going to say, but it fell out of my head. Oh, if you want to, like, if you're, like, into, like, min-maxing your time in game, go look at your timers. Go look at the weekly challenge log stuff if you've unlocked it. Because, you know, you could just work on crafts a little bit every week and still be getting big bonuses. There's like daily bonuses for like handing in stuff, and there's like daily and weekly stuff if you're really worried about min-maxing it. If you're super casual, you say you're super casual, you know, then just it's kind of whatever you feel like doing. Don't let anybody tell you what to do as far as, you know, what you should work on, but whatever's fun to you. Let us know what you decide to do, and let us know, you know, how you're progressing. I know it's very easy to feel stressed out, especially if it's your first MMO, or sometimes even if it's not your first MMO and you've played games where you can do something wrong. You can, like, spend, you know, ability points in a way that whatever. You can roll a job that no one uses, or whatever. You know, there are things you can, like, screw up in other games. This one, not really. You know, if you want, you know, should you work on crafts? Is doing repairs and requesting melds a problem? If you know, if you want to be able to repair your own gear, then prioritize crafting. And honestly, if you want to craft, you should probably level gathering. If you hate crafting and gathering, just don't do it. So, hopefully we were helpful in our endless rambling. But welcome to the game. I hope you enjoy. All right, I think I don't have anything else to talk about this week. I think we're done here.
All right.
Then it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can find links to all of our episodes and blog posts on our website, www.gtffxiv.com. While you're there, please leave us a comment. And if you'd like to, you can support us by clicking the donation button. You can find us on Twitter at GTFFXIV. Email us at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Please rate us. Personal plugs, Ruby.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at RubiconVale, RubiconVale.
And you can find me on Twitter at YeltaSumasu, YeltaSumasu. As always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.